So this is my first real world test of the Opel Mokka E, particularly in this green. It's not like you can hide in it. It's got the lovely black accents down here, the green body, and then a black roof to go with it as well. Super looking car. 136 brake horsepower, so there's no slouch. Automatic, obviously, being an electric car. Let's have a little spin around, see what we make of this car. I think I managed to turn the car off. No, turned it on. We're okay. I've turned it on. Just checking, just checking. Dashboard layout, super. Absolutely adore this thing. Everything is where I want it to be, and I love that this wraps around me. This bit here is all me. I like that part. Plus, it's really clear layout here. You got how much percentage battery you got left. You got the speed you're doing, and whether you're charge or eco or power or whatever it is you want to do, and it's just gorgeous. Doing a Yui. We're doing a Yui. The bell's tolling. So with 136 horsepower you can do stuff like your drive mode, right? So I'm in eco now, then you go into normal, thermal comfort limited, it says there on the top. Normal is there as well, and then you have sport, which is the next one up. So sport takes a couple of clicks, then you can kind of use that oomph that's there as well. Electric cars just have that nice oomph about them. Actually, let's test the oomph. Nothing behind us, nothing in front of us, we're all good. Down to 0. Poof! It's struggling to keep its grip there. It's starting to waver on the road. That's funny. You can feel the front kind of get floaty as it puts all its power down and lifts the whole car off the road. It's very nice. Into the other drive modes, so normal is good. And then of course you really want to go far, you can go eco. Now, like all electric cars, this struggles on the motorway. There's none of them any different, okay? So you're not going to get a car that's suddenly better on the motorway than the other ones in this kind of range. So kid out in a scrambler. No. It is a phenomenal car in the way it looks, and I have to say, Opel, you've done a savage job on the look of the actual car. It really does look the part. It feels the part. This cabin layout is probably one of my favourite of all of the electric cars around the market at the moment. And in this green, let's be serious, you want to attract a bit of attention, you've got it in this. You're going to get plenty of attention in this car, and I love it for that. So I don't have a problem with that sort of attention. That for me is part of being proud owner of a car, you know. I'm in eco, I'm in eco. Oh no, there's no power. No power. Eco just saps away all the power. That's okay, because what you want in eco is range, you know. You want to go far. Speaking of which, when I got in this morning, it said about 350 kilometers or 345 kilometers, something. When I got in, I had 96% battery in it. And I set off and came straight down to Portlaoise on the motorway, doing 120 where I could, 100 where I couldn't, and didn't let up. I just put the cruise control on, let it get me here. I still have 112 kilometers range left. So actually I could do a round trip. I could come down and I could go back easy enough on the range that's in it here at motorway speeds. Now, if you want, as an EV driver, a regular EV driver, I can tell you, if you slow down to 100 kilometers an hour on the motorway, or even less, you will go much further in your EV, but you'll also go much further in your ICE engine car too. Slower you go, the less effort the car has to make against the wind. And it's the wind, it's the condition outside that really plays a factor in how far you go in electric cars. Temperature plays a factor. It's currently, I don't know, 14 degrees outside right now. It's balmy, it's a bit windy here and there, but that's about it. My current range now is 110 kilometers. I think that this is Opel's best car they've had in years. Now, before I finish this bit, I want to point out something. The seats in this car have little or no support. Now, I don't mean side support, I don't mean this way. I mean lumbar support. I find my back is totally curved in this seat, which means if you're going to sit in it for a long period during the day, it's going to hurt. Eventually your back is going to get sore. And someone who has a bad back, someone who generally gets this bad back problem the whole time, you should be desperately aware of that, because the longer I sit here, the more uncomfortable I start to become in that seat. Now, there's probably other optional seats you can spec out which are firmer. This is a German car after all, and the Germans tend to make cars that are a little bit more, let's say, firm under bum. But this one is not firm. It does feel quite supple and just kind of, you know, you don't feel like you're hugged at all in the seat. You're just sitting on it. Quick word here on the rear seat comfort. There is a little bit of give in those back seats as well, and it does make them slightly uncomfortable on the longer journey. Everything is a little bit soft on the lumbar area. Rest of the car fit and finish is absolutely outstanding. Equipment level is very good. I have no other complaints really about the car other than the seats, which I'm sure are an optional extra, and you can spec something different. Other than that, this is probably the first Opel, aside from the Corsa, that I really like in the range. I really like this car. I think it's a very, very handsome, very nice car to sit around and drive in. Doesn't bother me that it's electric. It doesn't bother me at all. I haven't really considered that part. So, like with all electric cars, just so you know, they do bottom out. So the suspension in them often is much firmer than it should be, for like if it was a lighter car, because all these cars are really heavy. And you do feel it in this. You do feel that boing, boing, boing going along the road. But that's okay. It's not the worst thing. You get used to it. It's a bit like driving a very heavy diesel car. Is there anything I don't like apart from the seats? No. Everything else is bang on. You've Apple CarPlay, Android Auto built into this thing as well. The actual system they have in there has all got push buttons on it as well, so you can do the push button thing at the bottom. There is touchscreen for temperature control. Not so much of a problem when it's actually on auto. You live with that. That's okay. The systems they've got themselves are okay. But down here, crucially, Opel has put in physical buttons for the air conditioning. So it's all win. They're all there. Wireless charging trays in front of that as well. And then you have the gear selector and the kind of other sundry lane keeping systems and all that. Speaking of which, the lane keeping system is actually quite aggressive when you're driving, which is kind of weird. So you're driving and then suddenly there's a push to the left or the right. I can live with that one as well. You soon get used. You can actually turn it off. There's a button there to turn it off with. It's a very simple system to use. I got stuck in traffic on the M50 today as I was coming home, and realised that I could put on the active cruise control and it just sat there doing its thing, and I didn't have to think about it. It's quite easy, you know. I still have 49% battery. All is well in the world of my battery. I really don't have a problem with the battery part. It's so easy to just cover ground, cover miles in a car like this. It's just a beautiful place to be. This is Opel. If this is the direction Opel is taking, Opel is back, and Opel is going to be back in a big way in this country. Because we used to think of Opel as being like an Irish company. This is kind of emerald green, right? We'll just call it Irish green. It's ours. It's mine. I want it. I do love the colour. I think the colour on the outside really sets off the whole car. That beautiful yellow colour. It's good in white. I've seen it in white. There's another review of the car up here on the links above. You want to see the first review I had of the car, which was just a quick go we had in a German model. It was brought over first. But now the Irish one is here, and I'm more than happy to say that this is one of the best cars that Opel make currently. I just wish the seats had a little bit more support for me, but everything else, look, any cars you can get a full-size bottle of Volvic stuff into the door effortlessly is worth your time, right? Just practicality wise, these cars are very practical, and I really appreciate that part, because that's important for an Opel. It's also important for any car to be practical first. Junction, this one's a little bit weird. That's come up from there really fast. Eco mode really does kill the performance. You have to remember you're in eco mode when you put it out with junction. Otherwise, the gap between you and the car behind you does close rather considerably quickly. But I love this. I love these electric cars. I think these are really good. They're starting to get good. You know, electric cars are really starting to pick up pace now, and I'm really starting to enjoy some of the cars. The competitors to this kind of thing, I suppose the ID3 would be a bit like it, but really in that kind of proper SUV looking car. The only other car in this range is like MG ZS, you know, which is in a different sort of a scale. Same kind of size, but this feels a hell of a lot more premium than MG does. And I really, really, really appreciate what Opel have tried to do here, because this is very brave because this is a big step for Opel to take Mokka and turn it full electric, and that's kind of weird. Although Opel did cut its teeth not so long ago on the Ampera, where they learned a lot of their first impressions of cars, electric cars, was Ampera, and it was actually ahead of its time. Ampera was an incredible car, but it was just too expensive, and there was only 4 seats and things. So this is a return to form for Opel. You can, of course, find out more on opel.ie or opel.co.uk if you're our friends from the UK. The prices I will put up on the screen throughout the video, and of course the battery details and all that kind of charging stuff. Charging is normal in this car. There's no difference between charging this and charging anything else, really. It's not worth going into the detail of it. I haven't had to charge it either, which is the other part. I'll actually be sad to see this one go. I really do like this car. I think it's a good car, and it's definitely worth your inspection if you're looking at electric cars at all at the moment. I hope you like the new camera angles, so thanks for watching the new camera angles. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I actually bought a new GoPro 9. It's out there on the bonnet, and I'm terrified of the thing falling up. It's been rock solid for the whole review. And my Sony camera's back over there on my shoulder, so we have a raft of new cameras, thanks to all the subscribers, of course, that do all that sort of stuff. Subscribing is free, but if you want to support the channel in other ways, you can go to Patreon, you can go to PayPal, you can go to channel memberships. And I'd love to know what you think of a Facebook group or something to support the channel. I don't know, maybe we'd do something like that as a little group. We have a Sunday service group, and maybe something else behind the scenes that would get you more into it as well, because there's such an amount of content coming out the whole time. It's very hard to give any particular special attention to any particular content. There's just tons of it coming out the whole time. I'm on a road with grass down the middle of it. Interesting, that. Right, thanks for watching this far in. You're some of the generals that are out there that continue to watch to the very end of the video. It was very kind of you to drop on by. Thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, I'll see you and you and you on the far side. So don't crash into the hedge, because the road's quite narrow.